It's Saturday, January 24th, 2026, and we are right in the middle of this big winter storm. But we've still got a long ways to go. So, let's get right into it. Starting off with the Day 1 winter storm outlook, where we've got an expansive enhanced risk from New Mexico all the way over into Virginia. At some point today, everybody in that purple area will get some freezing rain, snow, sleet, or all of the above. That includes Dallas, where it's snowing right now. That includes San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Bentonville, Arkansas. That includes Louisville, Kentucky, Nashville, where it's also snowing very heavily right now, and then over to Lynchburg in Virginia. Now, down here in the moderate risk, the 4 out of 5 area, this is where we expect the most extreme impacts today. And it's not because of snow at all, it's because of ice. We've been talking about this for who knows how long now. But this is it. Today is the day of the ice storm for Shreveport, Monroe, Greenwood, and Oxford, up there towards Tupelo, Mississippi. Get ready for some ice accumulations up to a 3/4 of an inch, maybe even an inch of ice. But we are also going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have moderate impacts from Louisiana all the way up through the Ohio Valley into the Appalachian Mountains, over towards the mid-Atlantic, southern New England, and interior Northeast. Once again, most of this stuff up here, the northern side, is going to be snow. And then all this concern is ice. And then on the Day 3 outlook, everything's going to be moving out of here Monday into Tuesday. But early on Monday, we're still going to have heavy snow causing problems up here from Boston into Maine. And we're going to have some residual ice problems back here from Charlotte up to Richmond. So here's what the radar could look like tonight around 8 p.m. More than likely when you're watching this video, we are going to have a widespread area of freezing rain from the Mexico border all the way up to the Kentucky-Tennessee border, and this is going to be impacting places like Austin, Texas, San Angelo, and Dallas. And it's also going to be impacting places like Oxford, Mississippi. This is where some of that heavier freezing rain is going to be happening, and where we could see accumulations of over a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice. But at 8 p.m., we will be all snow in Oklahoma City. It'll still be snowing in Tulsa, all snow in Bentonville, all snow in Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, Louisville, Lexington, Pikeville, Cincinnati, and then it'll just start snowing in Columbus and places like areas just west of Richmond. Okay, but let's pull this even farther into the future and see what happens here as we go into Sunday. So, here we are at 9 a.m. You can see our massive ice storm is completely underway here. We're going to be having power outage problems from Jackson, Mississippi, up to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, back into Memphis. And it looks like from the time it starts freezing raining in Nashville all the way up to 9 a.m. Sunday, it's going to be a relentless, non-stop freezing rain event. There's one thing that could save us from a more serious ice storm in the Clarksville and Nashville area, and that's our big warm nose. That's actually going to be keeping Knoxville and Chattanooga and Huntsville completely ice-free for the most part. It's snowing right now in a lot of these areas, but it's going to be plain old rain before too long. But if this big area of warm air ends up being a little bit thicker, which is something that we talked about being a possibility yesterday, that could actually send the warmer air into Nashville and reduce some of the problems with the ice because it will start washing away the sleet and the accumulated ice. So, that's what we're going to hope for. Just yesterday, a lot of forecasters were predicting 15 inches of snow for Lexington. We came out and we said 7 inches. Why? Because we thought that that thick area of warmer air would be thicker than modeled, and it turns out that that's more than likely going to be the case. Lexington is likely going to switch over from snow to sleet probably sometime early in the morning on Sunday. I think that we're still good in Evansville, Louisville, and Cincinnati. I think that we're still going to get a bunch of snow up there, but just keep that in mind for my friends in Lexington. Snow starts in Richmond, Virginia by 11 p.m. at least on Saturday. It's going to start snowing in Washington, D.C. around that same time. We're going to have heavy snow in Washington, D.C. by 6 a.m. on Sunday. The snow is going to start in New York City 6 a.m. Sunday. And we are going to switch over to sleet and freezing rain in Washington, D.C. Sunday around 11 a.m. And it looks like this is going to be a mess as far as travel goes. I would not want to be on the roads in Washington, D.C. after 3 or 4 inches of snowfall and then it starts sleeting and then it starts raining on top of the sleet and it's still below freezing. Like, that's going to be an absolute nightmare. We're going to have really heavy snow around 4 p.m. in New York. There's a slight chance that we switch over to sleet here, but I'm still pulling for a slightly more southern track on this. And I think that it is possible that we stay all snow in New York City throughout the duration of the storm. We're definitely all snow in Boston, though, which is where we expect to see potentially well over a foot of snow. Now, let's give you another update on these ice totals. We're expecting potentially over an inch of ice accumulation in south-central portions of Middle Tennessee on the southwest side down there. We could potentially have 3/4 of an inch of ice all the way up to 1 1/4 inches of ice. That could be even higher than that near Tupelo, and this goes all the way down there towards Greenville and Rolling Fork and Lake Providence in Louisiana. So that's our #1 hot zone for potential ice problems. I think that it is very possible that we have prolonged power outages down here, but everyone in the pink could have some problems with ice. Even just 1/10 of an inch of ice will cause very dangerous travel conditions on the road. This place is going to get hit so hard by the ice that we've actually just got a confirmed report the Waffle House in Greenville is closed, and they don't do that unless it's going to be bad. The reason why even just 1/2 an inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice is such a problem over here is because we got a lot more infrastructure inside of our canopy here. So we got trees, we've got hills, we got power lines going through the hills and the trees, and it's just going to lead to a big mess. It's really too late to prepare. Hopefully, everybody's already prepared. Everybody's talking about this storm. I truly don't believe that there's anybody that doesn't know about this storm. So, hopefully everybody's not scared, but rather prepared. Now, one of the things that I'm hoping for is that we actually don't see over an inch of ice anywhere. And that's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible, especially if where it's freezing raining, it rains hard. So, imagine trying to get ice to cake up on a surface. What would be easier, hosing it down with a fire hose or sprinkling it with a little mist? The mist would obviously freeze faster and accumulate more efficiently, right? It's possible that a lot of these rain showers that will be technically freezing rain will be downpours, and that might lower the amount of ice that can actually build up. And the reason it's coming down so fast is because these are actually convective showers. These are thunderstorms. We've got a slight risk of severe weather in portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the panhandle of Florida. This is a slight risk of severe weather that's actually got a 5% tornado risk in there. Now, let's get back into the forecast. As the cold front comes through, there's going to be enough lift out in front of it that there might be multiple supercells that pop up in front of the line. Those will be capable of producing tornadoes. And then the line itself will be capable of producing what we call QLCS tornadoes. So, if you live down here, make sure you've got a way to get warnings. Okay, now let's get into the fun stuff. How much snow could we possibly see? If you're a snow lover, this is the map that you want to go by. This is the national blend of models. Let's start up here in the north and east, where it's not started snowing yet. I still think we're a shoo-in for over 16 to 18 inches of snow in Boston. There's some models that are still showing 2 feet up here. We're going to have a deformation band come over here that's going to drop snow potentially at 3 to 4 inches per hour, and that's going to be absolutely wild. We also could potentially see up to 19 inches of snow in Albany. I think that it's a very real scenario where a lot of the whole state of New York ends up with more than a foot of snow. But notice down here along the I-95 corridor, you can start to see the warm nose starting to kick in. And I still think that there's a good chance that we stay all snow in New York, but there are some models that are showing some sleet mixing in. We're still looking at potentially 10 inches of snow in New York City, 8.9 inches in Philadelphia, 7 to 8 inches in Washington and Baltimore. It's definitely going to start off as a big thumping of snow. It's going to cause big-time travel problems. I'm thinking 14 inches is possible on the high end for Pittsburgh, 13 inches Columbus. We're golden in Cincinnati, 14 on the high end for you all for sure. 12 inches Louisville and Indianapolis, and then Joplin 9.5 inches, Tulsa 8.7 inches, Oklahoma City 8.0 inches. This looks a lot lower than what we were talking about yesterday, but you gotta remember this is on top of what you already got. A lot of these places already have 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow on the ground, and we're going to double that from right now. Now let's look on the lower end of what's possible. 13 inches in Boston. And even on the lower end, we're still showing 11.2 inches here in New York. I'm going to tell you though, You don't want to hug these models. Don't be a model hugger. Don't get emotionally involved. We are still talking about potentially a foot of snow in Evansville, Louisville, and Cincinnati. Notice how the totals are going down in Lexington just like we thought they would. We're talking about 4 inches in Bowling Green and Clarksville, maybe 3 inches in Nashville, but a lot of that's going to get washed away. 8.3 inches in St. Louis sounds more realistic to me. Now here's why we are so concerned with the ice storm. We really do think that there's a pretty good chance that a lot of people are going to be without power for more than 12 hours after this storm. Some people will be without power for multiple days. And then what's going to happen is after the storm comes through, that Arctic high is just going to settle itself down in the southeast, and it's going to bring temperatures down near record levels. It's going to be colder than it's been in a very long time in Memphis, Nashville, a lot of Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and East Texas. And if it's 10 degrees outside or 0 degrees outside and there's no power, then that's a really dangerous situation. Make sure you are checking on your neighbors, especially if they're elderly. Bring your pets inside. Try to make sure that you have an alternative heating source outside of the one that depends on electricity in your home. And if you don't, locate the nearest warming shelter and know how to get there. Speaking of being prepared, get locked and loaded. Buckle in, everyone, because winter just started. This is just the start. The cold air is locked in for the southeast. Florida might as well be Ohio. Virginia, it's staying cold. The whole southeast is going to be significantly below average for the next 6 to 10 days, and there is another signal for another big storm. All right, and that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching Michael Carter Weather. I will see you in the next one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Stay safe out there, everyone. Goodbye.